is, like private. I mean, it's like, it's only for bringing the web to life, or bringing it to life. Let's see if we can get it going. One last try. Let me turn off some programs. Let's see here. That coding computer is. Hold on.
Live stream isn't going to start for 6 minutes, until 6 minutes.
Okay, good. I just. Okay, good. So at least you have a chance. All right, okay. We might get. Is it marked all viewed?
Malicious apes.
I just can't. Let's see. I guess, do I have to hang up on this one? Let's see.
Yeah, I can hear you. Where's Christopher?
Christopher, might be sleeping. Said he was going to do something today. Might work. You want me to message him?
No, it's fine. We'll get him later. Like, I think you two would be the best hosts.
No, that thing we did with our creationist cat, we didn't know. We were just saying the most random things.
Yeah, and you were like a million times more entertaining than any of the other fucks on there. Yeah. And at least you don't rearrange your furniture all the time.
Well, I kind of got my stuff the way I want it. My bed's in the corner. My computer's right here. My other desk's right there with some textbooks on it. My bird's up there. And everything else is... Well, you can't really see anything else because the camera's not pointing that way. Yeah, I have a... Well, it's my last bird. My other birds died of old age. They're older than I am.
You should get a St. Bernard.
Yeah, I love St. Bernard. I love them.
Well, we gotta wait until 8:45. And...
But yeah, I had 2 cockatiels. They lived up to the age of 20, both of them.
Gosh, see, I think I might be here. Let's see if I'm checking my other computer. I'm going to hit the button right now. How do I join this thing? Let's see. What was it?
Well, we might need to hang up on this computer and then try calling again on that computer.
You're right. You're right. Same shift.
Yeah,
I gotta update them both.
Yeah, just go back on your other.
I'm gonna go back to the other computer because this one's not as good. This one's only for coding. All right, I'll talk to you later.
Man, time bubble brain, living for the dead. Man, time bubble brain.
I did my bed. I have time bubble. Love you.
Instead of your dad.
Those are great ones, man. Oh gosh. Push the button.
All right, I can record this real quickly if you want.
No, we started. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Drunken Recap. Today we have a very special guest, G-Time Johnny.
Hi guys! I was gonna get Ruffy to rough for you.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Oh yeah.
Skype was a pain in the ass to him and did not allow him to do video
Well,
call. You know.
I'm a Linux guy, and so it's like I haven't updated Skype in a long time, and because Linux is free software, and you know you stay. If you go all the way to the edge, sometimes you go off of it, and so you're always balancing back and forth. Well, Microsoft does the same to other people, but they make you pay for it. I love you guys. It's good to be here.
Yeah, it's good to have you, Johnny.
Oh man. It's been fun, it's like this whole adventure that I'm on. I left society like 10 or over 10 years ago to come out here into the Sierras and just go on an adventure to try, using computer science and apply it to English like a scientist, and it's been crazy. But
When you put it like that, it seems like a children's show that you watch in the morning.
It is.
Like the Adventures of Johnny teaching the truth about science and man-time objects.
Well, it is fun. It is really, really fun. I mean, it's like, as you grow and I was always, I think one of the first books I ever got was David Ogilvy, How to Run an Advertising Agency, or Confessions of an Advertising Man. And entrepreneurship or building companies, just like you guys making your podcast, you're entrepreneurs. And that you're out here chasing your dreams, and we're here in the digital age. And, we as people, us, are in the country in a sense, compared to the meat world. Because everybody hasn't migrated to the digital age and the earth at the same time right now. And it's a really wonderful time to be alive. And we're lucky.
So, Johnny, what did you do before you started self-employing?
Well, the main thing is that I grew up as my dad raised me different, and I remember teaching adults water skiing when I was like 8 years old. I was living at ski school, and I was a professional water skier. I skied in tournaments. And then later on, I did shows. And anyway, I lived on skis until I was like 30 years old, teaching skiing and doing shows and stuff. And so by the time I was 30, I probably spent half of the days of my life on skis. If you follow what I'm saying, is that half of my life I was on skis and so there was always that dichotomy, because when we're skiing or we're playing music or riding a bike or whatever, when you're using your body to do a exercise, for lack of a better term, that you are one with your body. It's like moving your finger. It's like that. And then when I would teach adults skiing, I always had to knock the babble out of their head before that I could actually teach them to ride a bike, or how to ski. Like the first thing in an adult snow ski lesson is you got to stand on one foot and go 10 foot down a gentle slope. And, and then you got to stand you got to stand on the other foot and go 10 foot down a gentle slope. You have to get them in balance before they can even ski. It's, with their body. And so, but at kids, you go to a kids lesson and you just play chase. And before you know it, they're skiing down little hills. You do it all like on a little gentle playground where they're never afraid. And before you know it, if you just run around in places and the kids chase you, they're already skiing, And so there became this joke. If adults lived on skis, they'd be running into trees as the kids ski by,
Yeah, I have
so
a question.
Sure, go for it. I'll just keep ranting if you just.
You seem to have like something with Gail. Like, what's with you and Gail, basically?
Gail, I don't know about Gail. I think people connect me with a lot of stuff when it comes with the DP, and I love because you guys what G-Time does and what my project does, it makes digital natives. And the younger you are, the more that, because language automation. Can I talk about that for a second?
Sure.
Okay, language automation is that shift that we felt as children. And I never knew it. It's all been a discovery how to put it into English. Is that, we're made to think with, language instead of objects, like if we were wild animals. And that we were looking out on the plains and we go, oh, this looks good to eat. And, we're driven by those primal needs. Well, as humans, our primal needs are pretty much are okay. Our food and our safety and our shelter are provided for as humans. Well, when you move into that next step of the environment, or that that you have the free time, and so that your mind expands. Well, our species was able to do that online. On land in the meat world. And so we didn't, so it's been like an exploration. And in the true scope of time, in the true scope of time, what we have as recorded history as a species is a blink of an eye. But because of the way we use literacy, you have to be under its spell. And so the younger you are, the faster that the spell breaks. And so that's what I'm talking about. The younger the people are, that it's like walking memory. The older we get, the more that it gets embedded. So old people, they're embedded. I am going to say,
kind of like conditioning. It's conditioning.
You can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Exactly. You guys got it.
Yeah, I have a question from one of the viewers of the show.
Sure.
Johnny, if somebody who is a fan of you came up to you in your mountain, how would you feel?
There's a lot. Thanks to the digital age, that I'm able to share what I've learned and what I've discovered by applying computer science on English in a very specific way. I applied, based on Ruby's strict inheritance, I applied Alan Kay's OOP on English, which means that, it's that internal memory messaging, external biology. And so it's energy messaging biology. And so that's how Alan Kay thought of, cells messaging, communicating with energy. And so based on Ruby's strict inheritance, I applied it on English. And so what I've discovered is indisputable. And so I've been sharing it with the people locally. And some want to punch me in the face because they're emotional grunters, but others run up and hug me. And so it's but then the same person that wanted to punch me in the face, 2 weeks later is hugging me because I give them their nature back. Something that is indisputable. It's like, I discovered Galileo missing from, the application of computer science on English, and that's what G-time is. It's the scientific, it's the, physics is the knowledge of nature. And so when we program machines, we use electrophysics, and that's very important. And so that's what, I have done, but with English in our own mind, based on, how we've used language. And we're physics aware, whereas electricity is not.
Sounds interesting. Can you go into like more explanation of like what you mean by grunts?
Oh, grunts. That means that, if you have an emotional attachment to any word, that then you can't evaluate your life, scientifically. And so look at it this way, where that, there's, in programming terms, there are three types of grunts, okay? There are objects, ones that transcend all cultures, and everybody in the world would be able to point their finger to it, or like electricity and tangibles and intangibles, and that we can all agree electricity exists. All right, and then there's attributes, which are behaviors, okay, that are like verbs. One, objects are like nouns, attributes are like verbs, or, behaviors, they're in that realm. And then, there's conjunctions or operators in programming terms. And so that, like the plus, this, and, those words. And so you can reevaluate the whole human language with computer science terms because we use language based on physics instead of word magic.
Right.
There's no private definition grunts when it comes to programming a machine.
Yeah, I asked you a question, and you kind of went on a tangent about G-time and automated language. If
Right.
somebody, yeah, but if somebody was like, if a fan of yours visited your mountain, like they met you, how do you feel about that?
Oh, I love them. I mean, I love everybody unconditionally because ignorance is not their fault. But some of them, some people want to punch me in the face because that I confuse their whole, because language automation is the application of word fear. I mean, that is, when we were little trusting kids, that we like, you be afraid of this word and you don't do this word. I mean, it's just like take bullying, for instance. After we applied G-time or computer science to English and all the languages of Earth, bullying will be impossible because children will have kept their native, logic, which is physics-aware nature, and never lost it.
Well, look, if we want to end bullying, there's only one thing we need. Cool cat.
Well, it's not. It's to keep the child, because children, when we were born, we could be born in one culture and seamlessly raised in another because we're physics aware. I can tell you, scientifically how to raise a kid like that. And so that we keep their transcending nature that transcends culture. 'Cause now, 250 children are born a minute to adults of culture who disregard child nature and don't cultivate it and grow it.
Well, that's just because this is the way they've been raised. They've
Right.
They've
All the
been
way back, recorded history, danger trail, yes, language automation, you got it. Exactly.
Yeah, so like several people on the Drunken Peasants fan base have said that they didn't understand your ideology. Like I'm one of the very few who actually somewhat like gains a basic understanding of what your ideology is. But I think we've talked enough about the whole G.
Let me stop here for a second. Can I interrupt here?
Yeah.
Is that there's a key word when it comes to language processing that hurts everybody's head, and it's the word belief. It turns my young child minds to stone. All right, and that and as far as adults, people blow up for the belief word in adult. And so all I ask of my friends is that when they spawn that belief word in their mind when processing the world, that they change it to think. And so that instead of belief, whenever that you throw what I call a head flag, and you go, oh, there's that dang word again, and you go, oh, let me change it to think, and then go on, because belief turns minds to stone. And so I hope I didn't offend you or anything by interrupting you. Go ahead.
So somebody asked what your thoughts on nihilism and existentialism are.
Okay, well, nihilism, it's a private definition grunt. Existentialism is a philosophical term. It means that it's, non-objective evidence. I guess if I was going to use it scientifically, because when you use philosophy terms, if you think back to the Greek alphabet and the time of Socrates, that science and physics and all these things were made up by. Are you there?
Yeah.
Is that
yeah,
okay? I just heard you heard what I heard. But all these things were spawned. These word maps to phenomena and objects were spawned by philosophers. But then tyranny, which would be like government and so on, and language automation and religion also came, and then tyranny begins more organized than freedom. And so so what happened was that the tyranny took over, and here we are today, and we're going to go back to philosophy, which is like a word like existentialism. It is a word that does have some scientific anchors, for lack of a better term, about like an objective view of the world. And so, nihilism I can't use, but if I was going to, and what I'm doing for you folks is to word map the word existentialism and philosophy. Philosophy is like, if you can apply that to yourself, so that it's a third party view, when you go to philosophy and you say, this doesn't have anything to do with me, but I am it too, but I'm going to look at it and learn. And that, we're all research scientists. And that, I guess that would be, philosophy and research science has a lot to do in the same, same thing.
I think if anyone was like this man-time deluded Catholic time terrorist, it would be a postmodernist existentialist, because they think that their own anecdotes outweigh objective truth.
I wouldn't necessarily say everyone's a scientist per se, as you said. Maybe I'm taking this out of context, but
at birth, we're all research scientists.
No, I wouldn't say we're all research scientists, but because we're not really.
Einstein actually said that.
We're not putting it forth, but everyone does learn, and we always keep learning.
Einstein actually said that. I think that he said that we're all born a researse scientist, and so it's like an adventure. Relax.
But I know this is from my personal. This is my personal opinion. But I don't necessarily think Einstein meant that literally. I think he meant that we're always learning.
Right. Well, if you want to, unless you use the word belief. I'm just playing.
Man, this is hard to follow. If only you had a whiteboard like Glenn Beck.
I wish that you had that. I have the camera and everything set up at my whiteboard.
Oh, damn!
I'm sorry, it doesn't work. I'm sorry, it doesn't work.
Maybe you should have been. Maybe you should have been. What was that term you used? Since what do you call people who use Microsoft?
Oh, well, I just look at it that it's something we have to change during our life. Is that when a company, is that Microsoft is, for lack of a better term, how I explain it to people around me is that it's like condom software. The servers, the servers are Linux, all right. And if your computer is Linux, there's no intermediary. All right. Whereas, like when you add Microsoft to the situation, then you have a condom on, and so that's where all the viruses and all the crap and all the everybody's But it's a whole money making. It also is like
with all the reason why there's always the viruses and everything is because Microsoft is the most distributed operating system. That's the whole thing. If Linux was the most distributed,
don't you wear a condom to prevent the viruses?
No, I'll just explain why the viruses happen.
No, I'm not going to go there. Well, what they used to tell soldiers is that as long as they wash it and go pee out right after, they're going to be okay. No, I'm just saying that's what the government used to tell soldiers. This is during like the Korean War and stuff. You can take that up with Papa. Well, Well, that is something that is a lot about me for you and your audience and so on. Is that we take comedians take on very serious subjects under the guise of comedy, and that's kind of what I do a lot. I have to admit. I mean, to you and your friends is that because look at George Carlin. It's someone that's on YouTube that is like oh my gosh, if you go spend some time watching a little George Carlin, you'll watch a lot of George Carlin. And he's gone, and that's kind of like what YouTube is so great is that here we are with something that we're laying down recorded history, and this is for the future.
Well,
yeah, I'm glad you brought up George Carlin because there is a theory on the DP Wiki that you are actually George Carlin.
Yeah,
I never heard that.
Thinks you're George Carlin who faked his death and then
went out to live in the wilderness, and you now believe that the hippy-dippy weatherman is your true persona.
Isn't it funny how that people cast that word magic at me? I love it. I love it because, if they weren't casting word magic at me, they'd be casting word magic at someone else. It's like, it's kind of cool. But, back to the computer science on English, there's only one physics aware nature, and there's only one, physics doesn't negotiate. It doesn't need us to exist. That'll be one of my next songs that's coming up, is that, physics, the knowledge of nature, you've heard me say this before, is that it doesn't, it rides without us. And so, that's the whole, when you apply the biophysics into it, with computer science is what I've done with English. It's a scientific, shift of logic that brings us home. G time is a reset, and reset is a return. And so it's not, and when it comes time, for that, what I call, I'll be back here and on your podcast saying, we got to go. The time is now. It's, we got to go. And this is that, and I have my sights everything set up. And, because like I said, I'm an entrepreneur. When you do that and you're successful a few times and you've captured a lot of dreams in your life, you know when your dream is going to make it. And so I'll know when it's time and I'll go, hey, after party, here we go.
So what do you mean about where we're going back? Where are we going back to?
Well, that you recovered,
like a more philosophical, like I would say more when it comes to language itself, like a more romance language, or more specific.
It is very. There's that red line. I guess would be an easy way of saying it is that there's no language inside, and the skill of using language is how to communicate the objects that you're thinking with language to others. And so that you only think with the physical world, and when I say the physical world, I mean intangible and tangible objects that transcend all languages, and that these languages inside, and these objects inside of you are translated with language to others, and so
So you're talking about emotions.
No, but yeah, that you rely on your internal memory or your CPU as one with your body, just like you're skiing down a mountain. That you don't have. When you move your finger, you're not saying up down up down up down. When you move your finger, you're like one with your body. That's the same with skiing, and that's our born logic. And so what happens internally is that we get language automated, which is, let me tell you, for you computer programmers out there, is that if you look at the history of computer science, there was a time when procedural programming was the primary programming. But then came Alan Kay, because procedural programming is like the American government when it comes to laws. One law on top of another law, 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 bad code on top of bad code, on top of bad code. But then what Alan Kay did is that he said, man, this ain't working. And so he goes, internal memory messaging, objects messaging, okay, it's electromechanical. And so he reset the way that we program computers to object-oriented programming. So that when we code in object-oriented programming, it transcends to generations, that people 20, 30, 100 years from now, 2,000 years from now, know what we were thinking when we were coding, because we're using real physical objects and the energy in the middle, messaging between them. And so that it was always, fixable. And then you become computer programmers are much like doctors of today. But yet, we're still, doctors are still of today in the, in the meat world, are still owned by, the non-electrical thinking of the past. Matter, energy. Grain of sand has a gravitational field. And so until we're not trained to be it as children, but once you consume or once you become the energy of your body instead of the matter of your body, then you'll be able to reset yourself. because the energy is it flows, and then you could see that, oh, I'm biology and I'm not supposed to be conducted by this, and this language is in the way, and it becomes external memory. It becomes volatile internal memory messaging, external biology in a binary manner. And so what we're talking about is binary logic.
Okay, so I have a question. Why do you think the drunken peasants are the most evolved on the internet?
Oh no, am I still here?
Yeah, you're still here. No, you're still here.
Crap.
What happened?
Am I here?
Yeah, you're here.
Yeah, you're here, man. Can you hear us? I don't think you can hear us.
Oh, he lost connection.
Oh,
no.
fuck.
Oh,
No.
shit.
Not now.
He died of word slavery.
Are you there, Johnny? His eye
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Hello?
You hear us?
You might. Yeah, you might. It must have been Skype that fucked up on us.
Yeah,
I think you still can't
Am I
hear
back?
us.
Hey, can you hear us?
Hello?
Try to. Can you
Hello?
message him, Lance?
I'll send him a message. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what happens to word slaves, people.
I'm here. Did I mess up? Oh, it was already. Oh, cool. Hello?
Can you hear us?
I can hear you, man. Can you hear me? Man, of all the times for this to happen, it has to be now.
Right in the middle of a good conversation.
Hello?
We apologize. The
Crap.
word slavery killed him.
Option.
Man, this sucks.
Did he mute himself? Did you mute your
You're right back.
Your Johnny's gone.
No, he said he'll be right back. I think he's resetting his computer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
so, do either of you know what the fuck he was talking about?
Honestly, I could just put it this way. I don't know binary. I really don't know computer. I'm not a computer programmer like he is. But I do know is that what I think he was talking about when it came to like, I not even when he said some back like before language. I think he was talking about instinct and like actual animal instinct, like how an animal would act, like if they're afraid, if they're scared, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like
I think he was trying to say something about, like, us as, like, Galileo's children. We like have, like, this need to connect, like, our words to objects. And that's, like, how it is in, like, the digital coding world. Like, this code is attached to this thing, or, I don't know, something like that.
Well, this is just common. I guess it's just common sense, but computers need like digital codes just to work with each other, or the computer's not going to work at all.
Oh, really? Didn't
Really?
know that. I did not know computers need fucking codes.
So, but I don't know what he means by specifically means by binary in real life. I don't know. I'm not.
I was gonna ask him why the drunken peasants are the most evolved on the internet.
Can you hear us?
Do you hear us, Johnny?
Yeah, it was my cat.
This cat worked for the Catholic Time terrorists to silence him.
My cat. But you guys heard the. I guess I'm taking on that you heard the voice, but you lost me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah, we
good.
could hear you. You couldn't hear us.
Okay, I'm good. Good.
Are you using speakers? Like
Yeah.
Your cat unplugged them?
Yeah, my cat unplugged them.
So I have a question for you.
Sure. Sorry about that, guys.
Why
I'm
do
sorry.
you consider
that's fine.
the drunken peasants the most evolved on the internet?
Well, I think it's that they found me first, and I had been. If you go back to the early days of my YouTube page, I mean, you could tell I was really desperate. I didn't know what I was doing.
Wait, Johnny, hold on a second. Johnny, hold on a second. Eggs, what are you doing? Mute your mic.
Oh, is my mic messed up?
No, it's Eggs. He keeps moving around, and his mic is picking it up.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah.
All right, you can go on, Johnny.
I think he said that it's not showing up on the stream, just in our call.
No, I did. I did hear someone was moving around and doing their mic and stuff like that. But I didn't know if that was because my stuff was good. But anyway, is that what am I doing? Is that I moved up here. I gave one of you guys a link to to my about pages. I moved up here to solve the child adult logic dichotomy, and if you go back and I knew what was wrong a long time ago, but I didn't, know how to say it. And so it just took me a long time to, get to a position where that, you and I and all of us, all of us of the, digital natives can face the, tyranny of the meat world and say, hey, we need to go here. And that the meat world follows us and that we become one body of mankind. And to be able to do it in a way that no shots are fired and everybody, people quit, blowing themselves up. And
usually why people blow themselves up, they do it for a specific reason.
Right.
Don't make me blow myself up. Don't make me blow myself up.
Right. Language automation. And that's because, that these, words that are private definition, that when you clash the language that you process the world with based on, on nature's creations, meaning that you are nature's creations and you only process the world as nature creation, as like with nature's creations. And then you add in, you draw that line, and then you get in balance with what we created, what's unique to our species, what no other species in the world has. What's unique to us. And you treat those with, the physics of inheritance, that mommies give birth to babies. Our species gave birth to a unique biology, a biology that transcends generations. And once you isolate that, once you encapsulate that, for programming terms, and you remain nature's objects, you become polymorphic, which is like that you are, you see the opportunity that's before us. That, because when, that's what makes us evolve is polymorphism. That's what keeps the code and when you're programming machines, that's what keeps the code and the energy separated and free. By the way that you write your code, so it's polymorphic. So when, that you don't affect other calls. That you isolate the cells of code and not the same as the cells of your body, and so that it's a one world view.
Yeah. So
move your finger and model it.
I have another question.
Sure.
Do you know any person on the Drunken Peasants that you could consider a word slave, except for TJ?
TJ is a word slave. There's no denying it.
I think I can't go there. I got to defend him. He has, there's two classes of atheists, right? Because if you draw out the word atheist, it goes A, and then it belongs to theist. So you put the, is less than theist. The mechanical sign. You put that in between A and D. Because it means against Jesus. And so, but he has. That is
against Jesus. Well, no, it means against it's anti-theism in general.
That's that whole human.
It doesn't necessarily have to pertain to Christianity, though.
No, I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying that it means against. What it really should mean is against the human timed paradigm. Well, I feel TJ is evolving there. Because he does have a scientific part of him that that it'll come, that because we can't lie to ourselves. We can only lie to ourselves. I'm not saying self, and it is self is selves. Is that we can only lie to ourselves so long until that logic or physics takes over, and so no, I gotta kind of, I gotta step up for him. Is that I feel him when I watch him on there. I see him in that, he feels, and he's kind of seeing what's going on. It's that because we gotta go to G time. It's G time. Let me tell you what G time is. Is that and we've this whole podcast has been talking about it's been like the capture of fire. When the first people to captured fire, and they showed it to their friends, their friends ran away. Fire, 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 because they were traumatized by fire. Before we captured fire, all our species knew was that this shit's gonna kill you. All right, and so then they ran away. And so what G time does, it actually creates another class, an upper class of recorded history, where that we're making history as nature, and then all recorded history before us is one class of history. Well, we have been traumatized by recorded history. Okay, and so when we come with G time, it's like, hey, we're gonna make recorded history as nature. People run away, fire, fire, fire. It has a lot to do, and that's why that, as an entrepreneur, and that I take on such a great challenge.
What do you mean by natural recording? You mean like where there's no opinion, someone's opinion in it? It's specific in just that.
Well, from this day forward, in your guys' mind, I hope, is that all recorded history before us is tainted, because it really is the recorded history of tainted nature. All of recorded history, if you take it from a literacy perspective, okay, in Galileo's day, I'll go ahead and cover this, is that in Galileo's day, if you could sign your name, you were literate, all right? And that was like 15% of the population. When we were born, that, if you were under a recorded history spell, you were considered literate. All right, that means that you have to only think from the recorded history that has been recorded with literacy. Okay, and that is the recorded history spell. Word slaves. And then what I'm saying, what G time does, it resets us back to nature. And that we're making history as nature, and that all recorded history before us is now tainted, and that we'll integrate it into the new recorded history. But that's the thing, is that we have reset back to those children that I was talking about, that what G time does is encapsulate the child, that like a dog or cat. And so that we go from there. And so that's why that
I don't know. I just keep getting the idea that when you mean by nature history is that it's just gonna be specific. It's not gonna be opinionated. It's not gonna have someone's view. It's just gonna be specific in just that and how that just happened.
No, I'm saying that electromechanically inside you is an energy, all right? And I can, and it grows specialty for freedom. All right, now I don't know exactly how to grow this energy from a child, like a seed of a plant, or a dog or a cat. But I have the tools by using the physics of computer science to tell, here, new mommy, these words are from nature and these words are from human. And that if you make sure you keep your child and introduce these words at the right time, they will own the world. Because I get, you've heard me say this in other videos, is that the biggest recorded history side effect is that the older people, we were talking about language automation and how it gets embedded. Well, the older people live for the dead more and more and more. Whereas, we're born, every cell on this earth is born to live for its offspring. Well, that's why a new mother lives for its offspring again. If their mother is a cell and the baby is a cell, well, they're both in harmony. Well, that's what G Time Company does. Well, what I'm working on is to be able to supply them, and they'll whoop any soldiers out there with guns. You don't want no mommy mad at you, do you?
Oh god, that just gave me an idea. A mother with an assault rifle now.
That's right. She's gonna kick your ass.
She's not gonna kick my ass. She's gonna kill my ass.
That's right, and that's who we put in charge. Because they get reset when they have a baby. 250 a minute. Get born. I can't believe I count Marco. I know it's heavy on the mind, I know it's heavy on the mind. It might take 2 or 3 days and stuff like that, but just trust yourself. It's like getting in balance skiing. It's like you got to get in balance. You have nature's creations, you have human creations, and you have to get in balance with them. And your natural behavior, the behavior that transcends culture, comes back. It doesn't have nothing to do with me.
So basically, human creation. Human creation is artificial.
Right. Well, it isn't really artificial. It's that something.
Per se, it's not naturally created by nature itself.
Right.
It's man-made.
It's unique to our species.
So per se, culture in itself is artificial.
It's an inheritance object. We inherited it. All right. We're nature, and we inherited this, and we got to fix it. It's like
fix it how like actual nature, like the forests and everything, or just like human interaction.
That we encapsulate the behavior of a child from birth so that they stay the same till death with technology.
Well, in itself, then you're not forcing that child. You're not forcing that person to grow.
No, that's what we're doing. Is that we are growing that person.
But necessarily
we're growing their native logic.
No, but that child, when it's first born, doesn't necessarily have personality per se. Doesn't know what's wrong.
I disagree. When in 1492, language automated humans landed in America. Okay, and so this is a different logic than the natives that were here. And that's what I'm talking about. Is that we're
they have a different culture. They have a different culture altogether.
No. That it's a fully different type of logic. Where that the natives that were here before the settlers, tyranny begins, more organized than freedom. All right, is that the settlers when they got here and they're still here. I mean, here let me give you this story. This is what I carry with me. Coming from California, this is the last free land. And so, that kind of thing.
Time with Johnny.
Yeah. Is that when in Chowchilla, I grew up in Chowchilla, and you know how Yosemite was discovered? The settlers chased my relatives into Yosemite, and they go, "Oh, look what we discovered!" Because my native Chowchilla is a native town, and so it's something I carry with me is that the Park Service, the Forest Service, and the whole religion of America is still there. We haven't reunited with the land, or it's like the joke that a lot of it's like a native is walking across some settler's land, he calls it. He goes, "Get off my land, native." And I goes, "What do you mean? The land owns us. Just wait. You'll be buried in it."
Yeah.
And so that's that is really the dichotomy of what we're talking about right here in this line of questioning is that the child adult logic dichotomy is the same as the Aboriginal and settler dichotomy, as the Norseman and settler dichotomy, and the Native American settler dichotomy. Is that one is language automated ignorant. They only think from recorded history. They're Jesus timed, and that's it. All right, and that they got to think from BC AD, BCE, 2016. That's the only time frame that they can think from because they're language automated. Whereas the natives would think from a universal position that where they transcend all the different cultures, and so on, like dogs and cats.
But didn't natives
We're bringing it back.
themselves have? Well, I guess I'll think of the Mayans per se. They themselves have their own specific calendars. Because like the BC 80 BC, it's more like a calendar time frame for humans.
Right, but to pin a brain, a CPU into that little bubble is terrorism, for lack of a better term. Language automation of children is terrorism.
Not sure I follow that part.
Wait.
Oh yeah.
How is language automation? What do you mean by like language automation? Like specifically teaching them recorded human history from a certain perspective?
No, you're right. Exactly. It's that you are making a. Remember we were talking about literacy and its evolution,
Yeah.
right? Is that what G-Time does? It creates a new class of recorded history where that we are the natives again. You've heard that. That's why that millennials, you guys grew up with machines, and that you could, you'll have, the same cell phone number for your whole life, and you'll never lose the friends that you had in school. All right?
Well, that's not necessarily true. I had multiple cell phone numbers.
But do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
That you've always grew up with the internet. Well, see, now this is the new environment that, like what I said, tyranny begins more organized than freedom. Well, now that we have the internet, move your finger and model it, that we can, thanks to computer science, recover the native behavior that is stolen from us as children. And so once you separate objects, you got to go in your own mind to do a full language reinstall based on the physical world. That you got to be, in your own mind, go that I want to get in balance with human and nature's objects. Because I am nature, and I want to be nature again. I want to love myself. I want to represent every cell of my body. I want to represent every cell of Earth. I want to represent every cell of my city. I want to represent every cell of my county. I want to represent every cell of my country. And so that if we all think that way, boom, move your finger and model it.
I wouldn't really. If you want to represent, well, that's more lines. That's just self-patriotism.
Okay, Keto.
Or self-nationalism.
All right.
Well, I'm just saying that if when we apply physics, that's the thing, is that with computer science applied to English, it's like, discovering that the Earth, orbits the sun. There's no more, Earth orbiting Jesus when it comes to language.
Okay, so I have two questions here. The first is, what do you think is the best way of spreading G-Time to people who aren't informed?
Well, see, that's what I'm working on. As far as like I gave you one of them is that it sucks. Well, it is great, and it sucks, and me and my being stuck out here in nature like I am, is that on one side of that coin, I got the whole world on my back. On the other side of the coin, I got the whole world on my back. And so, I'm a guy, let me brag, since I'm on this podcast, I'll brag. My record is I sold 28 alarm systems in a row. All that the person that I was selling an alarm system to knew was that I was coming over to talk about alarms, and that I was and all I knew is that they were the homeowner. Okay, that was all I knew. And so I would go to their house. I sold 28 in a row, and I would do 20, I would do 21, 22, 23. I do all 18, 10. I do all kinds of different runs, but 28 was my record.
That's pretty impressive.
And well, I never ever had a person I couldn't teach a beginner how to either water ski or snow ski. Never, ever, ever. Never, in all my life. And so, that there is this one thing that will make it all happen without us. That once you realize that and I don't know what this one thing is, and what I mean is that the one thing that I think I told you about snow skiing is that a person had to ski on 1 foot and then the other. As far as alarm systems, you had to walk around the whole house and tell the customer how to secure their home without you. You tell them to go to Home Depot, buy this, for this, and you don't need me. And then pretty soon, by the time you're done telling them what they need to do without you, they go, give it to me. And so that's how I sold 28 in a row, is that there is a way of telling even the oldest, most inducted, adult male that I am American and I will not change and I will kill if I cannot be an American before I am biology.
I'm as mad as hell and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Right. Exactly, yeah. And so that there is a way of doing that. And so like at G-Time Company, if you go there right now, it's like, I totally flipped the pitch. And so the pitch isn't totally right yet. And so I know there's a way that I can present it so that that it all happens naturally. And it has a lot to do with computer science, the mothers, and everything we've talked about tonight. But by conversing with you, you make me better and you make me think harder and all that stuff I need to do. It's like out here in nature, all I got is the critters, and I can't really bounce stuff off of them. I'm still out here, and I'm out here in the Sierras, and to give you a little backstory is that I busted the bank trying to steal my home back in 2009, 2008 during the crash. I've been living here for free until now, and they've been trying to steal it every year. I just went through it again, and so and fortunately there are good people in government, and they know when people like that. If you look at we use terrorism in with religion is one thing. Terrorism with money is another thing, and it happens all the time. But we don't tag it with terrorism, but it is. Whenever our food, safety, and shelter is in jeopardy, well, we are terrorized.
And like speaking of critters, like do you say that you would like have like a favorite critter, or could you like not decide?
Well, I guess the best way to ask would be to say, well, what if you were an animal? What animal would you be? I don't know. Probably a dog, a Saint Bernard. I love you. I'm gonna rescue you. You don't have a choice. That is the beautiful thing.
Now, whenever I'm stuck in an avalanche, I can just wait for you.
Well, that's why St. Bernard's, for a little backstory on that St. Bernard's, is that there was actually a monastery in a place called St. Bernard Pass, and people, there was a lot of avalanches in there, and that was when people were all on their feet, and they would cut across that pass in the winter, and so people were dying all the time. They'd find them in the spring. So they developed this dog breed to go out and bring people back to the monastery for safety during the winter, and they would go out by themselves, and that's why I rescue Saint Bernards, is because they rescue us.
So Keto, what dog would you be?
Honestly, I would be my dog, the dog I own, just because he's got the life. He sits around the house all day. He does nothing but sleep. He gets fed and everything. And he has a loving family.
Eggs, what dog would you be?
I don't know.
Fuck
One thing's
eggs.
for sure.
Well, what animal would you be? What animal?
We're just going into like different species of dogs here. I mean, different breeds of dogs.
Just as a mechanical point, it takes 5 generations to get the behavior of a new breed of dog. If you were breeding a dog to do a certain behavior, it would take 5 generations normally to get this behavior. That's that to start getting that behavior, and then you could I'm a dog trainer. I ran every company I ever built. I had a dog by my side because I could go raise hell, and then all once the dog would come in and everybody be okay.
I'd be a pug.
You'd be a pug, huh?
Yeah,
I love
pugs
it.
are the shit. I love pugs.
So I think it's time we should end the stream.
Hold up, eggs. So
goddamn
Johnny,
lights.
like an
Yeah.
animal that you haven't met before but you'd like to meet, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good question. An ostrich.
I've never seen an
hear
ostrich.
I hear that. Well, that is probably my next one because that I have this property up here in the in the Sierras and then I kind of want to bring some other critters in, and that I heard ostriches were pretty cool, and maybe emu. I heard they were good, and so yeah, I don't know. I think that because see that I have one with them, and I have the same behavior as them, and well, you see my videos and stuff. I have a mule at my front door half the time.
Yeah, I was always wondering how you got Jim Ass in your videos.
No, wait, that was Jenny McDermott, I think.
Jenny McDermott's a horse, dumbass.
Whatever.
No, she's Jenny Half-Ass. She's a mule. She's Jenny Half-Ass. Proudly Jenny Half-Ass. Because I love donkeys. If you go back and search on my YouTube page, you'll go donkey. Oh, I love my friend Donkey. And he's so cool. He ran across the field, and just what a wonderful guy, man. I miss him. If I had I would have taken him. He's gone now, but I still kick myself because I didn't adopt him.
Yeah, I'd always like to meet a matinee. I only see like one matinee. He's always making like these boring YouTube videos.
Well,
I
they're
hope they're all
threatened now,
not
right?
like that.
Well, matinees are now a threatened species.
They were endangered. Now they're only threatened.
You're talking manatees. Manatees?
You just call me a matinee?
I call you a manatee. When I was a professional skier, I
Is
used
that
to
like
go.
a walrus or something?
No, a manatee is like a
Where were you-
freshwater.
Yeah.
It's a freshwater seal, for lack of a better term.
It's a freshwater mammal.
Yeah, it's a freshwater mammal, and it's in Florida. And,
Yeah.
and-
They're actually in my area.
oh, you're in Florida.
Yeah.
They're sweet. I mean, I was always when I water skied back there, I was always so afraid of the boat hitting a manatee, but then again, there's alligators around there too. And so, yeah, I don't know. I was in, I built the first water ski, if anybody knows where Pompano is, I actually installed that water ski cableway that's out there at Quiet Waters. And the one that's in Orlando, there's another water ski cableway. And so back in the day, that the water ski cableways are probably, once that I get my project going, I might go into that business because it's very, is that you can water ski. It's like snow skiing anywhere. That you can water ski anywhere as long as you have water.
Is it on its way towards Orlando? It's like a couple miles out of Orlando, right on the highway.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
in
is that it?
There's a park there, and I forgot the name of the park, but yeah, that you can water ski there on wakeboards and stuff, and it's a 5-tower water. Yeah, it's a 5-tower one. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
So
Yeah.
I think it's time that we should end the show right now. I mean,
I love you all, guys. Oh
Yeah.
man,
Good
thank
to
you for
have
having
you,
me.
Johnny.
G-Time Johnny, your final words of thought before we end.
Well, I just think that the main important thing is that that I'm not a teacher. I mean, I'm an instructor. Okay, fine, but I'm not a preacher or anything like that. I teach physics, and that it's the same as skiing. Is that if you haven't never seen a mountain before, that's kind of like what it is when you're language automation. And that when you meet me, it's like, it's like here's the mountain, and you could go up here, and here's the physics, and then you could go do it. But I don't force nothing on nobody.
Uh,
And I love you all.
Okay, do you think you could sing a song before we wrap up?
Yes.
Or you want me to sing a song? Just make one right up.
Yes. G-Time Johnny's premiere song on the Drunken Recap. Take it away, Johnny.
On the Drunken Recap, my mind just ran and ran away. I felt so comfortable. It felt so good today. I love you, friends, and you inspire me to be the best I can be. And so I share with you all of me, because I want you to be the best you can be. I love you, friends. How about that?
That was beautiful.
That was pretty good, man. We love you too, Johnny.
Love you
It's
all.
been good having you, Johnny.
Goodbye. The stream is over.
Anytime, man. It's going to be fun.
Have a good one.
You too. Love you all.
That was actually fun. That was fun.
G-Time Johnny's debut song.
Yeah, so the stream's over.